Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've uploaded the last video. So I've been thinking I want to start from scratch, um, recreating or reworking my home lab, and what better thing to do than to start with my networking, right? So I have a Cisco switch that I've configured a few years ago. It's been working great. Honestly, I forgot about it. I forgot how I set it up. I don't even know how to log into it anymore. I can't log into it anymore. It's a Cisco Catalyst 3850. Like I said, it's been running my entire home lab for years. Every packet, my Kubernetes cluster, my ESXi host, all of my home networking for my desktop, my laptop, for everything goes through that. I don't remember its IP address. I don't remember the password. When I finally tried to SSH, so I'm gonna try to SSH into it to see if I can remember how to get in. But like I said, I tried to, and it's there's no password set up, or I can't remember what it is. So today I'm going to find a way to get into my switch, to break into it legally, and audit what past what's been done in the past, and I think I set up some VLANs in there, so I want to look at that as well and reset it so it works properly. So the first thing I got to do is find out what the IP address is that I assigned to this switch. So that's the first problem. To do that, so as you can see, I'm already logged in. I'm logged into one of my Linux boxes. So I'm gonna run an nmap scan on my entire subnet, and by doing this, so every vendor, so the nmap scan that I'm going to do is going to provide me the nmap output for the MAC address, and every vendor includes I guess their name in it. So I should be able to see anything that says Cisco when I run this command. So we want to run sudo nmap dash sn, and then my subnet, my entire subnet is 192.168.1.0/24. So again, the dash SN means ping scan, host discovery only, no port scanning, and because I'm running it with sudo, nmap uses ARP on the local network, which gives me every device's MAC address and the manufacturer. So let's go through that. Let's run that real quick. So that's going to take a few seconds. Okay, so it stopped. It found everything. So looking at the list, I can tell that it's this guy right here. There we go. So my IP address for that Cisco switch, it's 192.168.1.2. So again, I used this nmap command to scan my entire network, and that way I was able to find out where my IP address is. So that's great. All right. So let's move on. The next thing I want to do is I want to try to SSH into it. So again, from my terminal, let's try to do this. But actually, before I do this, I want to do something else. Um, let's look at what ports are open on this guy, because I already tried to SSH. So again, we're gonna use nmap to do that. So I'm gonna do sudo nmap -p for ports. I want to check for port 22, port 23, port 80, 443 on that IP address, 192.168.1.2. Okay, so I can see that it's listening, or it has the following ports open: 22, 23, 80, 443, and it gives me the MAC address again. So I know I'm targeting the right system, the Cisco switch. Okay, so that's good. So let me see if I can SSH. So that will be through port 22. I'm gonna try to SSH as admin. I believe that's the username that I set up for this switch. So 192.168.1.2. Okay, bad server host key, invalid key length. So what does that mean? Uh, so so this is the interesting part. So if you ever managed an old network gear from the modern Linux boxes, you probably hit this exact same error. So this is not a run password. We just never got to a password prompt. So here's what's happening. When SSH was first enabled on this switch years ago, it generated an RSA key. So basically the switch's ID card. Back then, small keys were normal, but OpenSSH on RHEL 9, which is what I'm running on this terminal right now, I'm pretty sure it's RHEL 9, cat etc. Yep, so I'm running RHEL 9.7. Excuse me, refuses any RSA key under 1024 bits. So it's not asking, so it's not rejecting the connection. So it's rejecting the connection before authentication even starts. So here's the kicker. There's no client-side flag to override key size. The only fix is generating a bigger key on the switch itself, which means I need another way to get in first. So since I noticed that telnet is running, that's probably going to be my way in. So let's try to telnet into this guy. So if we do telnet 192.168.1.2, great. So I'm able to establish that connection. And again, telnet, you shouldn't be using that anymore. Now this, I think I still remember what the password is. Let me see if I'm right. Yeah, okay, I'm into my switch. That's good. So if you, like I said, if you look at the prompt, there was no username right now. The one detail tells me exactly how how in the past this was set up. The remote access lines use one shared line password, and there are 0 user accounts on this box. That also explains why no username was ever going to work over SSH. So we're fixing that today. All right, so let's run enable. Enable takes me from user mode to privilege mode. You'll see the prompt changes from the arrow to the pound sign. So that's what we're doing. So now I need it's okay. So I need to put my password. Right. So you notice how the prompt changed now. So now it's a pound sign. So that tells me I'm in privilege mode. So next thing I want to do. So before I change anything, let's see what we're working with. So let me run terminal length 0, and then we'll do show version. Terminal length 0 just turns off the pager, so output scrolls scrolls freely, and show version tells me, this is a Catalyst 3850 48 ports, running iOS -XE from 2018. So it's quite old, but hey, it still functions. It does what it needs to do. So it's end of life support. With a permanent IP-based license. So that license matters. IP-based means this switch can do layer 3 routing between VLANs. So let's remember that is the whole foundation for the next video that I got in mind. Okay. Excuse me. So now let's go ahead and show if I have any VLANs in here set up. Like I said, I haven't logged in to this switch in a long time. So let's do show VLAN brief. Let's see what it does. Okay, so I can see all the ports, what's active. So this is my favorite find of the whole audit. So if you look at this, VLAN 10, server management, VLAN 20, ESXi, vMotion, VCSA. Those are things that I created in the past. 6 VLANs, so there's good names, good plan. Now look at the ports column next to them, empty. No one single port was ever assigned to any of them. So every VLAN on this switch is a ghost town pretty much. Okay, so let's see. So now let's show interfaces status. Okay. Connected. Okay. Okay, here's why my VLAN project actually failed back then. So every connected port, all 9 of them, is a default access port on VLAN 1. An access port carries exactly 1 VLAN on tag. So when VMware was sending VLAN tag frames at these ports, the switch silently dropped every single one. So there's no error, no log, just nothing. the entire project failed because of one missing command per port, switch port mode trunk, and see this one trunk, port GIG 3-048, status not connect. That cable goes to my second 3850 switch, and currently that one's power off. um, so it's not probably, so that's the reason why. So the only trunk on this switch leads to a switch that's turned off. So outstanding work on my, on my behalf, right? So what else do I need to do? So let's fix a few things. So step one, let's give SSH a modern identity. We enter configuration mode and generate, and we're going to generate a new key. All right. So let's do that. So that way I don't have to use telnet anymore. So we'll do conf t. So that enters configuration mode. Okay. And now we're going to do crypto key generate RSA modulus 2048. Okay. Please define a domain name first. Okay. So here's why Cisco names RSA keys after the host name plus the domain. So it refuses to generate one until a domain name exists. So you will hit this if you try to do this, you get this error message as well. So let's fix it. So let's do IP domain name alpha omega hn.lab. So that's my domain name, my internal domain name. Okay. So now we're going to run that other command again. Crypto key generate RSA modulus 2048. Let me read that again. Yep, that looks right. Okay, the key modulus. Okay, that's good. Generating 2048-bit RSA keys. Keys will be non-exportable. Okay, so now we'll do IP SSH version 2. Okay, so yes, replace the old key, destroying it is the entire point. That's a fresh 2048-bit RSA key now, which clears every modern client's policy. And IPSSH version 2 locks out the old broken SSH protocol 1. So the key that locked me out is gone. So that's good. So what I want to do now? So the fix to this. So basically, this switch is getting actual user accounts. Um, I'm typing a placeholder password here for the video. So rotate your real credentials off camera always. So let me pause this real quick so you guys don't see this. So what I'm gonna, well, I guess I can do a little bit. So let me do service password encryption, right? Then I'll do username tech penguin privilege 15 secret. And so let me pause the video right here real quick so you don't, so obviously, so you'll do any password you want. So password 123 or whatever, but I'm not going to use that. So I'm actually going to pause the video real quick so I can enter the password that I want to use. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I set that up. I created the password. So again, I did username tech penguin privilege 15 secret, and then I did a temp password, whatever. So you run this command, and then you want to run enable secret and whatever password you typed before. So that's basically the steps that you didn't get to see, because obviously I don't want to show the password that I'm using. So three things just happened. Service password encryption stops passwords from sitting in the config in readable plaintext, which is exactly how how I left it in the past. So that's a security issue. The username command creates a name account. Privilege 15 means full admin, and secret stores a one-way hash instead of the actual password. And a new enable secret replaces the old weak MD5 one. To name accounts, beat share passwords every time you can see who's logged in, and you can revoke one person without rekeying everybody. Okay, so what I want to do now, so the last step is it's the remote access lines to the new account, and fire telnet. One important thing is I'm keeping this telnet session open until proving SSH works. Never, so let's see. So what I want to do now is, let's see. Yeah, okay. So the last step is to point the remote access lines at the new account. So let's go ahead and do that. So we want to run line VTY 015. I'll explain it in once I'm done. I'll explain what I'm doing in here. So we're gonna do login local, no password. We want to do transport input SSH, execute timeout 30 exit and write memory. All right, so what did I do? So VTY 0 through 15 is every possible remote session. So login local says authenticate against my new user account instead of the share password. So no password deletes the old share one. So it's been sitting in plain text for years. So now it's burned. So transport input SSH is a kill shot. From now on, only SSH can connect. Telnet is basically done. It's done. Then I'm doing a 30-minute idle timeout. So abandoned sessions that will die, that will get terminated, and write memory saves it all. Because until you do, then everything vanishes on reboot. So that's basically what that's doing. The next thing I want to do is, so it's basically moment of truth. I want to do a new SSH connection. So let's see here. How do I want to do this? Let's open up another system. Let's try it from you know what? Let's use this guy. That's fine. It's the same server, but this one has a GUI interface, so it's fine. Can you see this? Let me. Okay, I hope you guys are able to see that. Doesn't okay, I hope so. If not, actually, you know what? I'm not happy the way that looks. Let me go to my NFS server. There we go. That's much better. Let's clear out of that. So we want to, let me just copy and paste this, and I'll tell you in a minute what it is. Hopefully this works. Let's try that. Bad server host key invalid key length. What am I doing wrong here? Give me a minute. Did I not put the key length in here? Let me troubleshoot this real quick, and let me come back in a second. All right, let's try this again. So I noticed there was an issue with when I generated the key. For some reason it didn't write to it. I don't want to rerun the command show crypto key, my pub key, because obviously I don't want to show what my keys are in here. But let's try this again. Let's see if I can SSH to my Cisco switch again. Let's copy that command, paste. Oh, come on. Let me copy that one more time. Why is it adding those extra lines? I hate when it does that. Let's just type it in. I didn't want to have to type it in, but okay. This SSH. Actually, you know what? Let me do it from, I think it's just this terminal. And this guy, let me What else do I have running here? Let me try from one of these guys. Okay. Command line 0 bad configuration option public key. Okay, so that's still not working. Let's see what's going on. Let's try. So let's go back to the switch. Let me do conf t IP SSH RSA key pair name Cisco dash 3850 dash 1 dot alpha hn.lab and write to memory invalid input. Okay. Show IP SSH. Okay, SSH disable version 2. Please create RSA to enable SSH. Why is he still saying that? All right, let me troubleshoot this real quick. Let's see what's going on. I think I might have a typo. So let's. Did I have a typo up here? Let me see. What did I do? Conf. Yeah, I have a typo right here. All right, let's try that again. So let's do conf t IP SSH key pair dash name Cisco. Gotta slow down. Dash 3850 dash 1 dot alpha omega hn dot lab. Okay. Oh, RSA key. Okay. And then we'll do show IP SSH enable. Okay, so that's good. So we're gonna write this to memory. Okay, so now let's try that command one more time. I was over here. Back configuration option. I think it's public key acceptable algorithm. Okay, so I'm still having issues. Let's try to figure it out. Hold on. I think I figured out what the problem is. So this guy is running Etsy. Yep, he's running RHEL 8. So that's the problem. So let me switch back to, so who am I? Okay, SSH my data SRV. And let's see what happens now. There we go. So I'm going to type in the password that I created, and I'm in. Finally. Okay. So what happened? Yeah, the issue that I was having is I switched over to server A, which is running Red Hat 8 instead of 9. And the problem with it's RHEL 8 comes with OpenSSH 8.0, which doesn't know the the pub key accept algorithms option, and that's why it kept failing on that. Okay, so to recap, I had a Cisco switch, or I have a Cisco switch that I haven't logged into it in many years. I wasn't sure what the IP was, what the IP address was. I was able to find the IP address running the nmap command. I was able to identify that it was the IP by looking at the MAC address. Then we did another scan to look at the open ports on that switch. We found out that telnet and SSH and other ports were open. I attempted to SSH directly to the switch. I was not able to do so. Then I went ahead and I was able to get in via telnet. After that, then we configure SSH to work on this Cisco switch. Uh, so again, the problem has pretty much been fixed. Um, so what else do I want to show in here? So we created the password. We created the key for it. So now what I can do is I should probably do a backup of this guy. So let me run a backup let me exit out of here. So I'm back in here. So let me do a backup. Do SSH Cisco 3850 3850-1 show running config show running config. Then we want to redirect that to Cisco -3850-1 backup. Let's do date plus %f .cfg. What happened? Data should be date. Come on. Cannot resolve hostname Cisco. Okay, so that's that's just a DNS issue, but that's fine. Regardless, it's been fixed. The IP was found, the MAC address was found, SSH was set up, and it was set to only accept SSH2. So I'm good to go. What else do I want to run besides attempting to do that backup? I'll figure that out later. That's not necessarily necessary for this video. So again, this is the beginning of a series of videos that I'm going to do. I have another Cisco switch that I'm probably going to attempt to do what I just did using Ansible to try to get to it. Try to authenticate via telnet. I'm sorry, via SSH. I guess that's the way Ansible works. But then, yeah, I'm going to try to replicate everything I just did via Ansible. Hopefully, I'm able to get that working. Also, the next videos I'm going to be showing will be creating VLANs and different subnets. After that, I want to create another Kubernetes cluster on one of those VLANs with a separate subnet. And then we'll go from there. Hopefully, I wanted this video to be a little bit shorter. I'm coming up to 30 minutes. I'm sorry about that. I encountered a few issues that I was not expecting. I hope you learned something. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you. I'll see you on the next one.